Well, I was going to say another aspect of going to concerts, live concerts especially, as opposed to recorded music, is inspiration. Now, and as a young kid, I saw this group from Basque Country, you know, in northern Spain. They were playing at the Lotus World Music Festival in Indiana. I got to see them live. And it's the same feeling I had when I was, 12 years old seeing it act. Like, it just blew my mind in the sense of like, wow, these people are doing that and this, and they're putting together, like, they had images of the Eskimos playing with these indigenous instruments from, Basque Country, and these horns and these drums and these pieces of wood they got from Morocco. And it just blew my mind. That's all I could tell you. And it just it inspired me to want to do the best I can when I'm, bringing it back to my community and performing here for people around me, so on and so forth. Yeah, and I'm just grateful that I can still feel that sometimes, because the other side of it sometimes is, and I hear some people say, is like they might get intimidated or feel whatever about it, or they want to look down on it. To me, at this point when I see music, it's like, it's not whether it's good or bad, it's whether it's real or not real. Like when I go see a band, I just want to know that what they're doing on there is something honest and something that comes from really inside of themselves, and they're just in it, like they need to do that, and they're sharing it in a real way, and they're trying to spread some kind of beauty in the world as opposed to some kind of crazy, negative thing or some ego-conscious, you know what I'm saying?
Well, talking about some of the venues and some of the arenas and places that you can see live music, we got a comment from Keith on our Facebook page talking about how he has moved away from going and seeing any of the big arena shows. And now I know that happens a lot of times where people, you might start out and go see some of your, big time artists in a Coliseum or a big arena somewhere, and they get more and more comfortable seeing shows in a club that are more intimate. A lot of house parties. You can have a lot of these artists come by and have house parties. I've had a lot of those in my experience, and it's been great fun. But let's talk a little bit about what makes a good experience in a big arena or a small arena. And, what's really, is there a really one best kind of place to see music live?
I don't think there's a single best, because again, a performer can turn a large arena into, an intimate club. Saw Leonard Cohen at Thomas Wolfe last year, and I know he was pretty much doing roughly the same set list night after night, and yet at that night, man, it was like he was there doing it for us. And but you're right. I mean, in a club, you're closer up. You can find that sweet spot in the room where the sound is really crystalline and it just goes right through you. Whereas in an arena, there's a lot of weird spots and everything. The sight lines in a club, except for short people, might be much better. The experience of being jostled around by security guards and ushers in a large venue, ain't so cool when you can just go through the doors of a club and you're left to kind of roam on your own. And, so those are kind of external factors that influence it. But I would say, if you know there's a artist you really want to see, and the only way you can see him is in a big venue, don't let that keep you from going, because it's going to be entirely up to the audience and you, that transaction between you and the performer that's going to make it special for you.
Yeah, I like all kinds of venues. I mean, big and small and whatever. I think they all just deliver a different experience. And ideally, I'd love to see an artist in all of them, the same artist in a bunch of different ones. But I think so much has to do with your mood. Like, are you into? Do you want to go to a 7 o'clock show because you just had dinner with your girlfriend or boyfriend? Or are you in the mood to drink heavily? Do you want to be dirty and dancing with a bunch of people at a festival?
Always.
So much depends on your temperament.
Bob summed it up really nicely, and he said that wherever you go, and obviously it's easier to accomplish in a small venue than a large venue, but you sort of want to feel like you're at a home away from home. You're in a place where you feel comfortable, you feel welcomed, that your consumer dollar is valued, and that the performer appreciates you being there. And again, that gets back to that kind of transaction I was talking about. Because you can walk into a place and tell if it's going to be pretty quickly if you're going to feel comfortable or if you're going to just feel like you're going to sit on your hands and watch the show and then get out of there.
Yeah, there's a completely different vibe between, large arenas, between small clubs, and between, say, your living room. And there can be bad vibes in all of those, or there can be really excellent vibes in them.
And to go along with that vibe, and speaking about vibrations and frequencies, one of the things that make or break a concert for me sometimes is the sound. And this tends to happen, maybe you could have, basically, if it's too loud and you're sitting in front of those speakers, you could blow out your ears, and your ears are ringing for the whole weekend. And if your ears are ringing, you have tinnitus or something's going on, you're creating some kind of damage. Now, in the big arena, you could get annihilated by that. For those of you who have stood close to big speakers in arena, you know what I'm talking about. And sometimes there's a reason, like in this area of the world, for example, people really enjoy house concert and intimate things, and they prefer for the musicians to be unplugged. And a lot of times, we're talking about the business, the musicians can make more doing that than playing in a larger venue where there's about 5 middlemen between them and the actual audience who are all making a very decent money. Nothing saying against that, but it depends on what you want, what the audience wants, really. But yeah, so for me, I could go either way, but as long as I'm feeling I'm caressed by the sound and not hit over the head with it, because I've just had too much ear damage in my life, I guess, and.
Yeah, I hear that. I know. My ears ring plenty. Yeah. And there are plenty of venues and clubs that don't necessarily sound that good, but you can get a great concert experience anyway. There are plenty of examples of things that, there's just so many other variables that go into it, even if the sound isn't so good, or if the lighting is horrible, or if things are cramped. Sometimes those low expectations can lead to really an overall a positive.
Well, and conversely, if you go in with too high an expectation, you can have the whole experience ruined for you too. I think maybe the middle ground is to, in recent years, the whole idea is you get on the website and you see what the set lists are, and maybe even download a live show from the tour, so you pretty much know what's going to happen. But I've got a lot of friends that actually refuse to do that, and one key way they enhance their concert experience is simply by not knowing what's going to happen on that tour, and that way they can just go and accept that show that night for exactly what it is on its own terms, and they can go home and they can feel, even if the guy says hello Raleigh and it turned out to be Asheville, he was really in. I'm sure before that night was over, that performer recovered, and the people there thought it was pretty special.
Okay, real quick, guys. Stephanie, you got any concerts that you really wished you had seen, but you missed?
I never saw Led Zeppelin. I would have loved to have seen the vocal energy of that. I haven't seen Peter Gabriel, and would love to sort of resurrect him. Well, I know he's alive, but I don't know. I can't think right now, but yeah, probably a lot. I mean, I miss a lot of things because I feel too poor to go most of the time.
I agree. I would have loved to see Led Zeppelin when I was young, or now, and I would have loved to always seen Miles Davis. I have tons of his recordings. Never got to see him, and somebody like Coltrane. I got to see all of his other band members, but I would have loved to just have been in the same room with him.
I got to see Miles Davis in Charlotte at Ovens Auditorium. It was pretty amazing. One of his last tours, the show that did get away from me, and I actually could have gone, and like a fool I didn't go to see, was Nirvana at the Milestone Club in Charlotte. And right after that, those guys blew up, and man, I wish I could have blown up, because, had I known.
I wish I had seen Edith Piaf. That would be an amazing show, especially knowing, what we know about her life now and everything. And yeah.
Yeah, what do you think?
The DVD.
What do you think? Hit us up on Twitter at Lingua Musica or the hashtag Lingua Musica, also on Facebook. We're about to wrap it up for this edition of Lingua Musica tonight. I'd like to give a big round of thanks to all of the folks who have helped us make this possible. Big thanks to John Watson on video, Julian Melissus doing the live upload to the website. Also, Chuck Beatty, we've got James Richards, we've got Bob Hinkle, and everyone here at the White Horse, Bert Brown. And we also want to thank all of our many wonderful panelists. Thank you so much for all of your comments to Lingua Musica, and we'd also like to thank Grammar School. They're going to take us out this evening with another tune. Thank you so much.
Guess you, all you have to wait for the milkman ought to bring his grain. What he's got makes me shake. It's oh so good. Ooh, I can't wait. All the best spots are found on the back roads. Don't let your mama catch you. Don't let your mama catch you. Hold on, oh so tight. It's just might be on the ride of your life. Bite down in the middle, cause there's a surprise inside. I hope she makes it out alive. All the best spots are found on the back roads. Don't let your mama catch you. Don't let your mama catch you. Here's my nickels and dimes, and I can wait in the car outside. Whoa, I rush the scene over and over again, and I lose every time. I hope we make it out alive. All the best spots are found on the back roads. Don't let your mama catch you. Don't let your mama catch you. Thanks.
Hey guys, we're Grammar School, and hello World Wide Web.
That was some good chatting, y'all. Over here. It was awesome.
We're gonna take half of our set talking about our opinions instead of no. All right, this song is called "Hipster Doofus."